if you're one of the people who happen to have a first generation Vios, consider yourself kind of lucky. That's not a taxi or an X taxi. These are one of the most durable, practical cars that you can ever own or can ever buy. Brand new or second hand, not the newest Vios. This particular Vios is in the 2003 up to about 2007 one. It doesn't matter if it's a 1.3 or 1.5. If you have one of these things, keep it. You will not find or buy a better car than what you have today than in this thing. Well, this is a '05 Vios that we actually managed to acquire because we bought out a company. This came along with it. And after it not running for about 2 years, you do the usual things, mainly suspension, tires, because it hasn't been running. You do the normal stuff, change oil, spark plug, all the fluids, radiator. Well, it's a manual, so you change the clutch also. And well, this looks like some animal has gotten to it, but it's still functional as a steering wheel. But the amazing part about this car is the interior. Yes, it's faded. Yes, it's old, but that's how it sounds brand new. It's solid. There's no rattling. There's no langit, nothing. And when you drive it, it's pretty much that. As long as it's not been into an accident, this is one tough little car. And if you're thinking that it's a old Vios, it's slow, well, you can be right, but not really. So like this one, this is a 1.3 liter manual. Horsepower wise, the current crop of cars that you can buy a 1.2 Brio, you can buy a 1.2 Swift, you can buy a 1.2 Race. All the small cars are pretty much the same horsepower level. So they're at the 60 to 65, maybe 70 horses on the dyno. So it's not much more powerful than the car that that segment used to be. Because back then, this was the cheapest car you can buy from Toyota. Now you have a Wigo. And the Wigo even has even less power than this one. So if you think that it's underpowered, no, it's not. It's actually a pretty fun little car to drive. And then if you want more power from it, and that's what it's doing here in the dyno now. What we'll be doing first is we'll be installing the Unichip because that is the easiest, best, most bang power without changing anything. Because there are some people, particularly women, who don't like any additional sounds from the car. So no loud exhaust, no loud intake, nothing. So if you just want performance, you just install the Unichip, and this is where it's installed. It's hidden inside the glove compartment. Not that we don't care anymore because it's way out of warranty because the ECU, if you take out this glove compartment, the ECU is back there. So that's where the unit chip is wired also. And we're gonna do a baseline on it, see how much power it is. Like I said, I'm guessing 60 to 60, anywhere from 60 to 65. And then we'll install the unit chip and see how much power we get. We've done a lot of this one, so I already know that we'll get at least 7 to 10 horsepower from this car. And for those people who think that there's a delay, and no, there's not, because this thing's still a cable throttle, so there's no electronic delay per se from the throttle. What we can adjust with the unit chip is ignition timing and amount of fuel it gets, which I'll explain in a little bit more detail in a while after we do the baseline dyno. And this what we mean by tuning. I've connected the unit chip to the laptop to the USB cord, and this is what we see. Anytime that you see something like this, which looks like an XL, this is called a map. So again, if you're thinking that can you remap the Vios directly to the ECU, this generation Vios, the answer is no. So no matter who you talk to all over the entire world, nobody can remap this car directly to the ECU. It's nobody. It doesn't exist because back in 2004, remap wasn't even a word. The Vios that came after this, you can remap, but the Vios Philippine version that came after that, the one from 14 and up, no, you cannot remap also. So only Unichip will work. And so for all intents and purposes, the Unichip is the remap for these cars. There's no other solution out there that is as easy to install and as economical. Sure, you can go for a standalone for the Vios, and the standalone will cost pretty much half the price of the car, second-hand price. So what we have here is, okay, I'll show you very quickly. What we have here, this is the map. So this is RPM, so it's up to 6,500. This is load, so this basically is equivalent to how deep I press the pedal. So 1 to 13, it's just arbitrary. The 10 does 1 doesn't mean 10%, 20%. No, it's not that. Then we have here, this is the timing map. If I click here, this is the fuel map. TPS, I would, option 1 and 2, I would do this if this was electronic throttle, but it's not. So the only two maps that we're going to be editing are the fuel map and the timing map here. So that's it. The numbers here, we already have a preset of 7.1, 6.2, and all of that. These are in degrees. So crankshaft ignition timing degrees. Most of the time we advance, so we can actually advance it a little bit more. Somewhere here too. Here not so much. Notice that I can have negative numbers here. So if you if you really want pops and bangs, I can have it pop and bang by making this entire row here. Okay, negative 25 there. So when it goes up like that, and it goes down, and it cruises down here, negative timing will make it pop and bang here once you release the throttle. And no, but no, I don't do that because one, personally, that's really stupid. You waste a lot of fuel doing that. And two, eventually you will break something. If it's not the exhaust, it's the exhaust manifold. And if you're lucky, if you're unlucky, you can break the engine if you pop and bang it too much. So that's why we don't do that.